The first important element of the UI is this tree structure that works as a wizard and assists the user in the sequence of the selection required. We first sketch the profile of the camera, then we will build the main body. Other important elements of the UI are handles and mini dialog that allows to control numerical value of a parameter. In the next command, I have a depth parameter. I can either drag the depth or input a precise numerical value. The preview allows the user to visually control the result. This interface works for any command and is extremely flexible, allowing the user to add or remove elements from the selection, reviewing the selection, and even changing the order. We will now sketch the profile for the slot. Mini dialog is the term we use for this small edit text, always attached to the geometry. This is the ideal position for this parameter that are in the focus area of the user, attached to the preview of the geometry she is creating. This semantic helps the user to understand the meaning of a parameter and at the same time provides a comfortable integrated environment. The user doesn't have to move her focus on a different area to change a parameter and look back on the geometry to see the result. The user directly interacts with the geometry and see the results right there in the same area of attention. We will now add some filleting that makes the shape more desirable. In this integrated environment, the user can input a value, see the visual result, and then adjust it until he is satisfied. The command can be applied on multiple instances on different entities. We will now fillet the top and the bottom faces of the camera with a 5 mm radius. Next, we will hide some support geometry and build the slot for our lens. By double-clicking a face, the system will position the workplane to build my new geometry. Shortcuts to contextual command are always available from context menu for less advanced users. We will now build a small protrusion with a draft angle, and then we will add the slot for the lens. Any command starts using the previous values for the parameters, since typically users need similar configuration for subsequent instances of the same command. When sketching the profile, the system rotates the view to be perpendicular. This modality can be disabled, but it looks to be a great help for beginner users. In this case, the user will have to disable the draft angle and input a larger depth value. Then complete the command. Let's now build the slot for our flash. As usual, we will sketch the profile first and then we will build the slot. We build a 30 by 20 rectangle, then we add a 5 mm fillet to every corner. As you see, remembering values is often useful to improve the workflow. The system is also smart enough to recognize preselected entities as input for the command. This makes the workflow even smoother and faster. Using the same profile, we now build the body of the lens. We build a linear solid and we invert the direction of the depth so that the flash goes inside its slot. We do the same operation using the profile of the lens. This time we change the material first to be a transparent blue. Let's go back and use the same material also for the flash. We now hide the support geometry and rotate our model to have a first view of what we have done. We forgot the viewfinder, among other things. As usual, we place our work plane and we sketch the shape of the viewfinder. This time we need to disable the grid to be able to position our geometry freely without constraints. We then sketch our rectangle and use the mini dialog to input a 20 by 10 dimension. At last, we create our slot that needs to go completely through the camera. We have to set the extension through all from the selection list. Rotating the view, I can verify from the preview that the result is what I am expecting. We now have a very rough model of the camera, and this completes our demo.